In a faraway galaxy, the Zarnath spacecraft glided silently through a colorful nebula. The nebula swirled with bright colors, reds and purples mixing in a dance of light. On board the Zarnath ship, a team of alien explorers searched for hidden treasures among the stars. They were brave, but also curious, eager to learn about other worlds. One day, while scanning the area, the Zarnath team detected an unusual object floating nearby. It was an old human spaceship, its metal exterior covered in dust and space debris. The ship looked like it had been lost for centuries. The Zarnath captain, a tall alien with green skin named Calthor, was fascinated. "What do you think it is?" he asked his crew. "It looks ancient," replied one of his officers. "We should check it out." With excitement, Calthor ordered the ship to approach the human vessel. As they got closer, the crew could see that the ship had a strange and beautiful design. They docked their ship and prepared to board. Inside the human ship, the air was cold and still. The crew flickered their lights as they moved through the dark corridors, their hearts pounding with anticipation. After exploring for a few minutes, they came upon a large chamber filled with advanced technology. In the center of the room stood a cryo chamber glowing softly. Inside, they could see a human figure, frozen in sleep. Calthor leaned closer, his eyes wide. "It's a human! We have found a real human!" He could hardly contain his excitement. The Zarnath had heard stories of humans, but none had ever seen one. They were known for their strength and bravery, and Calthor thought they could use this human to their advantage. "Let's wake him up," Calthor commanded. His crew hesitated, unsure if it was wise. But Calthor was determined. "We can control him. Imagine what we can do with a human warrior by our side." They activated the cryo chamber, and the room filled with bright lights and a humming sound. Slowly, the chamber opened, and the human soldier, Captain Alex Mercer, began to awaken. He blinked, confused, as he took in his surroundings. He felt strange and disoriented, unsure of where he was or how long he had been asleep. As Alex stepped out of the chamber, he noticed the aliens watching him closely. They were unlike anything he had seen before, tall and slender with bright eyes and colorful skin. He quickly assessed the situation, his instincts kicking in. He was a soldier, trained for combat, and he knew how to handle threats. "Who are you?" Alex demanded, his voice strong and commanding. The Zarnath were taken aback by his presence. Calthor stepped forward, trying to assert his authority. "We are the Zarnath!" "You are in our ship. You will serve us!" Alex frowned, feeling a rush of anger. "You think you can control me?" he replied, his mind racing. He had fought battles in his time, and he was not about to be a puppet for anyone. Realizing their plan might not work as expected, Calthor ordered his crew to prepare to capture him. They aimed their energy weapons at Alex, thinking that fear would make him obey. But Alex was ready. With lightning-fast reflexes, he dodged their attacks, moving like a shadow in the dim light. The Zarnath were stunned. They had expected an easy victory, but this human soldier was proving to be a formidable opponent. Alex fought back, using his training to outsmart the aliens. He could feel their fear growing as he evaded their shots, showing them just how powerful he was. As the battle continued, the Zarnath realized they had made a grave mistake. They had awakened a warrior, not a servant. Alex was not going to be controlled. He was ready to fight for his freedom, and the Zarnath were about to learn the true meaning of regret. The Zarnath crew stood frozen in shock as Captain Alex Mercer dodged their energy blasts with surprising skill. Calthor, the alien captain, watched in disbelief. He had expected the human to be weak and obedient, but instead, Alex moved like a seasoned warrior. Each time the Zarnath fired their weapons, Alex was one step ahead, weaving and rolling to avoid being hit. "Is this what we woke up?" Calthor yelled, frustration rising in his voice. "Why is he so strong?" His crew exchanged worried glances, realizing their mistake. The stories they had heard about humans were true. They were fierce fighters. Alex took advantage of their hesitation. He sprinted toward a control panel, his heart racing. He knew he had to turn the tables before they could regroup. As he reached the panel, he noticed buttons and levers glowing under his fingertips. With a quick look over his shoulder to ensure the Zarnath were not ready to attack again, he began pressing buttons. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Red lights flashed, filling the room with an eerie glow. The Zarnath panicked, their attention diverted from Alex. He smiled, realizing he had created the perfect distraction. "Shut that off!" Calthor shouted, trying to regain control. His crew rushed to the control panel, but Alex had already planned his next move. He turned and bolted down the hallway, hoping to find an escape route. As Alex ran, he felt the adrenaline pumping through his veins. He knew he had to think fast. He quickly glanced around, searching for an exit. Ahead of him, he spotted a door marked Hangar Bay. Without thinking, he pushed through, hoping to find a ship to escape. Inside the hangar, Alex saw several small Zarnath ships parked neatly. He had seen many types of spacecraft in his time, but these looked different, sleek and advanced. He rushed toward one, his hands moving quickly as he searched for controls. Just then, Calthor and his crew burst into the hangar, their faces filled with anger. "Stop him!" Calthor yelled, pointing at Alex. "Don't let him escape!" Alex turned, ready to fight. The Zarnath had not given up, and he could see the determination in their eyes. But he was ready. With a swift kick, he knocked over one of the smaller ships, blocking their path. The Zarnath stumbled, momentarily thrown off balance. "Get up!" Calthor shouted. "We must capture him!" Alex took this chance to climb into the ship he had targeted. He quickly scanned the control panel, trying to make sense of the alien technology. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, but he was determined to figure it out. He pressed a few buttons and pulled a lever. The ship roared to life. Outside the hangar, the Zarnath regrouped and prepared to charge. They were furious, and Alex could hear their angry shouts echoing in the hall. He had to act fast. With a burst of courage, he pressed the throttle and the ship shot forward. The Zarnath barely managed to jump out of the way as Alex flew out of the hangar. He was free, but he could not celebrate yet. He needed to put distance between himself and the Zarnath ship. As he maneuvered through the nebula, Alex felt a mix of emotions. He was relieved to be away from the aliens, but he also knew they would not give up easily. He glanced back at the Zarnath ship, now a small dot in the distance. Suddenly, alarms blared again, this time coming from his ship. Alex realized that the Zarnath had activated a tracking device. They were still after him. He had to find a way to shake them off. Thinking quickly, he scanned the area. The nebula was thick with colorful gas and debris. Alex decided to dive deeper into the swirling clouds. He hoped the Zarnath would lose his trail in the confusion. As he flew into the nebula, Alex felt a surge of determination. He might be alone, but he was not defeated. He was a human super soldier, and he would not let the Zarnath control him. He would fight back, no matter what it took. Inside the thick, swirling clouds of the nebula, Captain Alex Mercer maneuvered the Zarnath ship with skill. The colorful gases surrounded him, hiding him from his pursuers. His heart raced as he focused on escaping, but he knew he could not run forever. He needed a plan, and he needed allies. After a few minutes of flying through the nebula, Alex spotted an opening in the clouds. He guided the ship through and emerged into a quiet space. The stars twinkled above, and he took a deep breath, feeling a bit safer. However, he knew the Zarnath would not give up easily. He had to find help. As he looked around, he noticed a nearby planet. It was small and uncharted, but it looked like a good place to hide. He set the ship down on the surface, making sure to keep it concealed behind some rocks. Once he secured the ship, Alex stepped out and scanned his surroundings. The air was thick with the smell of strange plants, and he could hear the sounds of alien creatures nearby. "Hello?" he called out, hoping someone would hear him. But there was only silence. Alex knew he could not stay alone. He needed to find other survivors or anyone who could help him. As he walked cautiously through the forest, he noticed movement in the shadows. Suddenly, a group of aliens appeared. They were small and had blue skin with big, curious eyes. At first, they looked frightened, but one stepped forward. "Who are you?" the alien asked, its voice trembling. "I'm Captain Alex Mercer," he replied. "I'm not your enemy. I was captured by the Zarnath and I escaped. I need help." The aliens exchanged glances, unsure if they could trust him. Finally, the leader of the group, a brave little creature named Nico, stepped forward. "We know the Zarnath are bad. They took our friends and enslaved our people. We want to fight them, but we are too weak alone." Alex's heart sank. He understood their pain. "We can fight together," he said. "I can teach you how to defend yourselves. With my training and your knowledge of this planet, we can take down the Zarnath." Nico nodded, determination in his eyes. "Yes, we will join you, Alex. We will be allies." With that, Alex and the aliens began to make plans. They gathered everyone in their small village and shared stories about the Zarnath's cruel ways. Alex explained how he had fought against them and how they could stand up for themselves. The aliens listened intently, their fear slowly turning into hope. Over the next few days, Alex trained the aliens. He taught them how to use makeshift weapons and how to move silently through the forest. They practiced teamwork, learning to trust each other. Every day, their skills improved and their spirits lifted. Meanwhile, Calthor and his Zarnath crew were searching for Alex. They were furious that he had escaped and were determined to find him. Calthor was certain the human had not left the planet, and he sent out search teams to find him. On the morning of the final training session, Alex gathered everyone together. "Today we put our plan into action," he said. "We will ambush the Zarnath when they come searching for me. We know this land better than they do, and we will surprise them." The aliens cheered, their excitement growing. They painted their faces with colorful designs, ready to show their strength. Alex felt proud. He had turned scared beings into brave fighters. They were ready. As night fell, the group hid in the shadows near the edge of the village. They waited silently, listening for any sign of the Zarnath. Alex felt a mix of nerves and excitement. This was it, the moment they had prepared for. Suddenly, they heard the sounds of ships approaching. "The Zarnath were here!" Alex's heart raced. He motioned for everyone to stay quiet and wait for his signal. The aliens held their breath, ready to fight for their freedom. As the Zarnath stepped out of their ships, Alex whispered, "Now!" The group charged forward, shouting and yelling to catch the aliens off guard. The Zarnath were taken by surprise, and chaos erupted. Alex led the charge, fighting bravely alongside his new allies. This was the moment they had trained for, and they were determined to win. The night was dark, but the air was charged with excitement and fear. Captain Alex Mercer stood at the front of his small army, watching as the Zarnath soldiers approached. His heart raced, and he could feel the energy of his new allies beside him. They were ready for battle, and so was he. The Zarnath stepped out of their ships, their green skin glistening under the stars. They looked confused, unsure of what to expect. Alex took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. This was their chance to fight back against their oppressors. "Remember our training," he shouted to his allies. "Stay together and follow my lead." The aliens nodded, their faces determined. They had practiced for this, and they were ready to prove themselves. As the Zarnath soldiers advanced, Alex raised his weapon, a makeshift blaster he had crafted with the help of Nico and the others. "Now!" he yelled, signaling his team to charge. With a roar, Alex and his allies rushed toward the Zarnath. The battle began with chaos and noise. Blasts of energy filled the air, and the sounds of shouting and fighting echoed through the night. The aliens fought fiercely, using their agility and cleverness to outmaneuver the larger Zarnath warriors. Alex led the charge, dodging energy blasts and returning fire. He was surprised by how well the aliens fought alongside him. Nico and the others moved with confidence, using their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage. They hid behind trees and rocks, ambushing the Zarnath from all sides. "Stay focused!" Alex shouted as he took down one Zarnath soldier with a quick shot. "We can win this!" The Zarnath quickly realized they were in trouble. They had underestimated Alex and his allies. As the battle raged on, Calthor watched from a distance, furious at his soldiers' failure. "Fight harder!" he roared, trying to rally his troops. But the Zarnath were scared and confused. They had not expected to face such fierce resistance. Meanwhile, Alex spotted Calthor at the back of the battlefield. "If we take out their leader, the rest will fall apart," he thought. With a surge of determination, he decided to go after Calthor. He moved through the chaos, dodging energy blasts and ducking behind cover. Nico noticed Alex's plan. "I'll come with you," he called out, ready to assist his friend. Together they advanced toward Calthor, using the confusion of battle to their advantage. As they neared the Zarnath captain, Calthor was shouting orders to his troops. "You are weak! You will fall before the might of the Zarnath!" But Alex and Nico were close now. They could hear Calthor's angry voice over the noise of the battle. "Get ready!" Alex whispered to Nico. They both raised their weapons, preparing to strike. Just as they were about to fire, Calthor turned and spotted them. "You!" he shouted, his eyes narrowing. "You dare challenge me? Together we can defeat you!" Alex yelled back, and they both fired at the same time. The blasts hit Calthor, knocking him off balance. He stumbled, but quickly regained his footing. "You will pay for this!" he shouted, charging at them with rage. Nico, thinking quickly, picked up a nearby rock and threw it at Calthor. It hit him squarely in the chest, distracting him long enough for Alex to fire again. This time, the shot landed squarely, and Calthor fell to the ground, stunned. With their leader down, the Zarnath soldiers hesitated. Alex turned to the aliens around him. "Now's our chance! Push forward!" he shouted. Inspired by Alex's bravery, the aliens charged at the confused Zarnath. The tide of battle quickly turned. With Calthor out of the way, the Zarnath began to flee, realizing they were losing. Alex and his allies pressed on, refusing to let them escape. As the last Zarnath ship lifted off into the night sky, Alex raised his weapon in triumph. "We did it!" he exclaimed, filled with pride. The aliens cheered, their voices echoing in the night. They had fought bravely and won against their oppressors. With the battle over, Alex looked at Nico and the others. "Today we proved that we can stand together and fight for our freedom." The aliens nodded, their faces glowing with happiness. They were no longer afraid. Together they were strong. The sun rose slowly over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the landscape. Captain Alex Mercer stood on a small hill, looking down at the village. The night before, they had won a great battle against the Zarnath, and the air was filled with a sense of hope and excitement. As he watched the aliens celebrate their victory, Alex felt a sense of pride. They had come together to fight for their freedom, and now they were free. He turned to Nico, who stood beside him, a big smile on his face. "We did it, Alex! We really did it!" "Yes, we did," Alex replied, feeling happy for his new friends. "This is just the beginning. Now we need to rebuild and protect our home." The aliens had gathered in the village square, cheering and celebrating their victory. They danced and sang songs of joy, their laughter echoing through the trees. Alex could see how much this meant to them. They were no longer the scared beings hiding from their oppressors. They were now brave warriors. As the celebration continued, Alex called everyone to gather around. He wanted to share his thoughts about their future. The aliens quieted down and turned their attention to him, eager to hear what he had to say. "Friends," Alex began, "last night, we showed the Zarnath that we will not be pushed around anymore. We have proven our strength together. But now, we must think about what comes next. We cannot let our guard down." The crowd nodded in agreement, their expressions serious. "We need to build a safe place," Alex continued. "A place where we can train, learn, and prepare for any future threats. We must protect our home and our people." Nico stepped forward, raising his hand. "We can help! We know the forest and the land. We can build defenses and create a place to train. We will not let anyone take our freedom again." The crowd erupted in cheers, inspired by Nico's words. Alex felt a swell of pride as he watched the aliens rally together, ready to take action. He knew they had the determination to succeed. Over the next few days, the village transformed. Under Alex's guidance, the aliens began building walls around their homes. They crafted weapons and tools, using the resources of their planet. They worked hard, their spirits high, knowing they were fighting for their future. Alex spent time with Nico and the others, teaching them new skills. He showed them how to build traps and set up defenses. They practiced together, ensuring that everyone was ready for any threat that might come their way. As they worked, Alex learned more about the aliens and their culture. They shared stories of their past, their struggles, and their hopes for the future. He felt a deep connection with them, realizing that they were now his friends and allies. One evening, as the sun set, Alex gathered everyone around a large fire. They sat together, watching the flames dance in the dark. "We have come so far in such a short time," he said, looking at their faces. "We are stronger together, and we must always remember that." Nico nodded, his eyes shining. "We will protect each other. We are a family now." As the days turned into weeks, the village flourished. The aliens became skilled warriors, and the defenses they built made their homes safer. News of their victory spread, and other groups of aliens began to visit, wanting to join them. Alex welcomed everyone with open arms. He knew that together, they could create a powerful alliance. They could stand against the Zarnath and any other threats that might come from the stars. One day, as Alex stood on the same hill where he had watched the celebration, he realized how much had changed. He had come to this planet as a prisoner, but now he was part of something greater. He had helped awaken the spirit of these brave beings, and together they had forged a new path. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Alex felt hope for the future. They would face challenges ahead, but with unity and strength, they would overcome them. The aliens had found their voice, and with Alex by their side, they were ready to protect their home and fight for their freedom. This was not just a new beginning, it was a new chapter in their lives. They were no longer victims, they were warriors, ready to take on the universe together.